Hi, Eileen. So, excuse my appearance. I'm exhausted today, and I'm gonna try and make this really quick. But I thought like videos might be easier than phone calls, just because then you can know how busy you are. And I figured, you know what? At her leisure, she can kind of listen and then give me some advice. So, yesterday, Max had a meltdown of like epic proportions. Very reminiscent of when he was little. He was rolling around on the ground and screaming and kicking his feet, and it was one of those, like, I could tell he was not in control of himself in any way. He was shaking. It lasted, I want to say, for 10 to 12 minutes, which isn't bad. But it happened at someone else's house. So he has a friend named Cahill. Cahill's brother is Braden, and I think you're familiar with the family. Such a nice family, and Max adores Cahill. They're pretty much best friends. I don't know how much Cahill like reciprocates that deep level of affection, but I know that Max like loves him, and that relationship is really important to Max. Like, he wants to play with him all the time, and sometimes they're a little bit at odds when they play together because, Max is self-directed in his play, and Cahill is also kind of a rule-based kind of kid. And so they butt heads a little bit sometimes because Cahill really tries to enforce the rules, and then Max kind of likes to break the rules in order to kind of get Cahill's attention. So Max might have his like when they come and play here, Max might have his iPad, and he'll play those like Caillou videos where they say grounded. And then Cahill will get upset and say, "You're not allowed to watch those videos. I'm gonna take your iPad away if you keep watching those videos." And then Cahill will do the same things with his toys. Like, "I'm gonna take my trains away from you if you keep doing XYZ." So they have kind of an interesting dynamic. That's just a little bit of background info. That's not what happened yesterday. So yesterday was the first time Max went to Cahill's house. Typically Cahill comes here, or we take the boys out to eat. Yesterday, Cahill's mom took both boys out to eat, and then they went back to Cahill's house. And when it was time to leave, I went to pick Max up, and Max wanted to bring some of Cahill's toys home to borrow. And then sorry, there's something in my eye. Then, Max was like, "I'll just give it back when I see you the next time." And they see each other at speech. So they see each other several times a week. And Cahill was kind of like, "No, you're not bringing those home." And his mom said, "Yes, Cahill, stop. Max, yes, you can bring those toys home." And so it was a little bit of an odd dynamic there because Max is listening to Cahill's mom say yes, and Cahill is adamant that the answer is no. And I was proud of Cahill because he really advocated for himself. He looked at his mom and he was like, "You don't get to tell him, that's not your decision. This is my decision, and I'm saying no, you are not taking those toys home." And Max pretty much just lost his mind. And the reason I'm making a video is this: even though the strength of the meltdown was probably the biggest I have ever seen with Max since he was little, this kind of dynamic of needing to take toys home, needing to borrow toys, and being unable to give toys up, that is true for Max, and it is a pattern. And when Max does leave toys, or he isn't able to borrow or bring them home, it does create anxiety. So he doesn't always have these epic meltdowns, but he does get really anxious and upset, and he's always asking. And as a parent, it's a little embarrassing because I don't want him constantly asking, "Can I have that toy? Can I borrow that toy?" And a lot of times he's not asking to borrow. Everywhere we go, he asks to bring toys home, or he says, "Can I have it?" And when he was little, and people understood he was autistic and they were trying to be kind, everybody said yes. And I would be like, "No, don't give it to him. Please don't let him take that home." but everybody said yes. And so Max kind of got into this habit and mindset, like, all I have to do is ask, they're going to give it to me. So the other day we were at the dentist and even there, Max is like, can I take this? They had a shark stuffed animal. Can I take this home? And then the dentist said no, and he accepted no, but then he kept asking. And that's uncomfortable for the other person. So I could see the dentist felt a little bit uncomfortable because he kept having to say no. And I was just like, Max, we already talked about that. He already said no, but I didn't really know how to handle it. So a couple of things that I'm looking for advice on. The first is, what can I do, or what can we do to help Max kind of get out of the mindset that he gets to borrow things constantly? How do I get him to stop asking, can I take that home? Can I have that? I want him to stop asking and to start knowing it's not appropriate. I tell him all the time. So like after he was calmed down and everything was good, we had a talk and I said, Max, you can't keep asking to borrow toys. That is not why we play with friends. You cannot ask to bring things home from places. You have to stop that. But it's not sinking in. So I don't know, besides talking to him about it, I don't know how to get him to stop doing that. So that's my first set of questions. And then the second set is, hopefully he will not have an epic meltdown again. But I will say I wasn't so much embarrassed about his meltdown because he's autistic and I knew Pauline understood. I was more embarrassed about myself and the fact that I didn't know what to do. I really just kind of stood there and let him cry it out. And then I tried to give him some options, like, if you can leave the toy here and get up within the next minute, we'll go home and have a treat. And that probably wasn't the right thing to do, but I felt flustered. And it wasn't just Pauline that was there. It was like her husband was staring and watching, and it was just like really awkward because I literally, as Max is flailing and rolling around and screaming his face off, I'm just like silently praying, don't throw the train, because she had like these pretty glass things around, and I was like, oh my God, don't throw the train. And I knew not to try and snatch it out of his hand because then that was gonna escalate it. But I basically just stood there until he calmed down, and I didn't know what to do or how to handle that. So that's my next question is, if this happens again, hopefully it doesn't, but if it does and we're out in public, what do I do? I don't know what to do. So, all right, so that's it. Thank you so much for your help. All right, bye.